Imagine this, there's an airport full of people. Everyone's in a hurry and rush and they're moving left and right. The speakers are calling the flight's name and everyone's looking kind of worried. It looks like a chaos. But among this chaos there's a guy sitting in a red chair. He's looking weird for sure. He has his briefcase and books next to him, and on the other side he has his clothes, tidy and clean, but definitely not new. He's staring and thinking, and he doesn't look like he's in a hurry or something. He's not going anywhere, and he isn't looking for anyone. This guy has been living in this airport for more than 18 years. Not 18 days, 18 weeks, or even 18 months. He's been living in the Terminal 1 of Charles de Gaulle Airport for 18 years. And the obvious question is, how is it possible that anyone can live in an airport for 18 years? Story of Sir Alfred or Mehran Karimi Nasseri or Terminal Man is an absolute tragedy, is a living nightmare. It's full of lies, deceit and mental problems. This is one of those stories that if you haven't given the proof, you won't believe it for sure. To find the answer, we must travel in time and go back to the start of Mehran Karimi Nasseri's life. This is Boycott. Mehran Karimi Nasseri was born in Iran in 1945. His father was a doctor and was working for a petroleum company. His family was wealthy and they didn't have any financial problems. But there was a secret inside that family that changed Mehran's life forever. When he was 23 years old, his father died, and at this time he found out about the secret that was lying beneath the family for more than 23 years. He found that the mother that was raising him wasn't actually his real mother, and his real mother was a Scottish nurse that was having an affair with his father. He realized that he was the result of an affair. This truth destroyed him. The life and family that he considered safe was now a nightmare. He had to get out, so he fled from Iran to United Kingdom, to the country that he felt that he can get a successful future and a new identity. He started studying in Bradford University. His major was Yugoslavian economy. I know that must sound weird, but at that time, the whole thing about Eastern Bloc countries were at the all-time high and everyone was reading and talking about the Cold War and the future and possibly the danger. His life in England wasn't bad at all until he ran out of money and his family didn't support him anymore and they did not send him any cash. So he became broke and didn't have any other choice. He decided to leave UK and came back to Iran, and this didn't look like a wise decision. He was so active in politics, and Iran is and was not a good place to talk about politics or protest. So as soon as he got into the protests about the government, he got arrested. There are two scenarios about this incident. One is that when he was arrested, he just got asked some questions and they let him go. But the other one, and the one that Mehran is actually telling himself, is that they took him for days and tortured him and asked him questions and made a nightmare for him. After his release, they took his passport and told him to not come back to Iran anymore. At that time, he felt like he really belongs to nowhere. He doesn't have any home. So he left Iran again. This time, he was seeking asylum from European countries. He filed for 6 and only one accepted, Belgium. So he went to Belgium and seek asylum there. They gave him all the documents he needed, so he could travel to any European countries anytime. But he wasn't satisfied at all. He still had the hope to meet his real mother. He was saying that he found out about his mother and she was living in Glasgow, Scotland, so he had to go to England. And besides that, he used to think of England as like a place that he can be successful in the future and have a really good life there. And the journey started. He went to France with a train, and after that he was taking a small boat from France to England. And on the way he made his biggest mistake, the worst mistake of his life. He decided that he doesn't need the documents anymore, documents from Belgium. So he kinda threw them away. And when he reached United Kingdom, the officers asked him, "Who are you?" And he didn't have anything to say. He was just thinking that if he said, "Yeah, I am here to seek asylum," they would let him live there, but that was not the case. Immediately after that, the officers put him on a plane and sent him back to France. And as soon as he got out of the plane, the French authorities arrested him because of the fact that he didn't have any documents and actually he didn't have any identity. They didn't know what to do with him, so they decided to let him go. But letting go or becoming free didn't mean anything to Mehran. He didn't have anywhere to go, didn't have anyone to go, and no one was waiting for him. So when the police set him free, he just stayed in the Charles de Gaulle airport. He was waiting but didn't know for what. He didn't have any choice. He didn't belong to any country. He used to say that Iranian government took my passport, United Kingdom rejected me, and now the France does not accept me. I'm like a nationless man and I don't have any identity. The thing is, when they set him free, they told him that he should leave in 48 hours. But there was one problem. He didn't have any documents or passports to go anywhere. And also, the French government did not allow him to come to France. So he stuck there. He didn't have any choice but to stay in the Charles de Gaulle airport. And this is when his 18 years journey started. He was waiting for days, weeks, months, and even years, and nothing happened. He was living in the transit section of the airport. He used to sit in a red chair that had his small suitcase next to him. That was all his belongings. After that, little by little, all the airport staff find out about him and knew him, and they kinda become friends. The airport staff used to give him food and talk to him sometimes. But living in an airport is impossible. It is unimaginable. Imagine sleeping on that chair while everyone is in a hurry and rush and the speakers is calling the flights all the time. But he had no other choice. He was settled in. He was using the public bathroom as his bathroom, so he used to shave there, go to bath there, and wash his clothes. He was feeling at home. His hobbies were two things. One was that he was looking at the people and just thinking, and the other one was that he was reading every single newspaper that he could find in the airport. His food was from the McDonald's that was in the airport. Sometimes people would give him money. He was saving all his money in a bank account that was in the airport. He actually became part of the airport's environment. It's funny, but when people came to sit on that specific red chair, he got angry and acted like they were trespassing. He was saying, "That is my home, just go away." And imagine you're on an airport and sitting on a chair and just a random weird looking guy come and say, "Hey, that is my house, just get out of my house." And it is really weird, I guess. Slowly he became famous. One by one, people that was traveling from that airport used to go and talk to him and asking about his story, and actually most of them did not believe because it's unbelievable, really. One thing that he did not tell anyone was that the reason that he was living there was almost because of his decisions, and he was truly responsible for his stay there. In the 90s, people used to call him the Terminal Man. He slowly changed his story. From that point on, he used to tell people that his name is Sir Alfred and he's not Mehran and he's not Iranian. He even went as far as telling everyone that he is a member of the royal family and he lost his paperwork and got stuck there. And this is really unbelievable. He used to call himself Sir Alfred Mehran. He even told some people that he was born in Sweden. There was a really famous lawyer at the time, Christian Borger. He took Mehran's case and he worked on it for years, and he finally got a solution. And when he came to Mehran and gave him his passport, he did not accept. He said that, "No, I'm not Iranian. I was born in UK." Imagine, after all these years, one lawyer finally solved his case and gave him a passport to leave. He was refusing, and that lawyer said, "I'm totally disappointed with this guy and he must definitely have some mental problems for sure, because he could leave anytime he wanted. He had the passport, but he didn't want to. The only thing that he was dreaming of was living in UK." This is where everyone find out that the real problem is Mehran himself. He was the prisoner of himself. He was always saying that he is waiting for the documents, but when the documents arrived, he just refused them. Even at that time, he had enough money to go and get a house and live like normal people, but he refused. In 2003, a big shift happened in his life. Steven Spielberg found out about him and he decided to make a movie inspired by his story. The movie was called The Terminal. The main actor was Tom Hanks. It is reported that DreamWorks Studio gave him about $400,000 and he just transferred them to that same account that he had in the airport. People that were around him said that he didn't even watch the film. He wasn't interested in it at all. In 2006, something happened. He had a chronic illness and he had to go to a doctor. It was the first time that he was leaving airport. There are also two scenarios about this part. One said that he went to UK with his brother and stayed there until he got better. The other one is that they took him to some place for homeless guys and he just lived there, and after that he got better. He came back to the Charles de Gaulle airport. This is the really weird part. After all those years, in 2022, he came back to Charles de Gaulle airport. He was old now and no one really cared enough about him. He lived there for 1 year and passed on the first terminal of Charles de Gaulle airport. His story was really weird and tragic, and I don't know how to describe it. What do you guys think? Was Mehran actually his own prisoner, or there's something else going on? What do you think? Let us know in the comments, and thank you for subscribing.